Buddhāvataṃsaka Sutra. Book 18. Clarifying Method. Video 2. Child of Buddha, when enlightening beings thus purify the transcendent practices, fulfill the transcendent practices, do not give up the transcendent practices, they abide in the magnificently adorned vehicle of enlightening beings, and expound the teaching to all sentient beings who come to their attention, causing them to increase pure conduct and attain liberation. Those who have fallen into evil ways they cause to aspire to enlightenment, those in difficulty they cause to diligently persevere. To the greedy they teach desirelessness. The wrathful they induce to practice equanimity. To those attached to views they explain interdependent origination. Beings in the realm of desire they teach to divorce unwholesome things like craving and hatred. To beings in the realm of form they teach analytic insight. To beings in the formless realm they expound subtle wisdom. To people of the two lesser vehicles they teach the practice of dispassion and tranquility. To those who like the great vehicle they expound the great adornment of the 10 powers. As in the past when they first aspired to enlightenment they saw innumerable beings fallen into evil ways, they made the great lions roar and said, I should by means of various teachings appropriate to their needs and potentials rescue and liberate them. Enlightening beings, replete with such knowledge and wisdom, are able to liberate all sentient beings. Child of Buddha, enlightening beings, endowed with such knowledge and wisdom, cause the lineage of the 3 treasures never to end. How? Great enlightening beings teach creatures to awaken the will for enlightenment, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of Buddhas not to be broken off. They always expound the treasury of the teaching for sentient beings, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of the teaching not to be cut off. They maintain the principles of the teaching well, without opposition or violation, and therefore can cause the lineage of the religious community not to be cut off. Furthermore, they are able to praise all great vows, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of Buddhas not to be cut off. They analyze and explain the aspects of causality, and are therefore able to cause the lineage of the teaching not to be cut off. They always earnestly practice the 6 principles of harmony and respect, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of the religious community not to be cut off. Also, they plant the seeds of Buddhahood in the field of sentient beings, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of Buddhas not to be cut off. They protect and keep the teaching unreservedly, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of the teaching not to be cut off. They unify and order the great community tirelessly, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of the religious community not to be cut off. Also, they serve and uphold the teachings spoken and the precepts established by the Buddhas of past, present, and future, and therefore are able to cause the lineage of the Buddha, teaching, and community to never be cut off. Thus enlightening beings succeed to the 3 treasures, free from error in all they do, all of their actions they dedicate to omniscience, and therefore their physical, verbal, and mental actions are free from flaws. Being free from flaws, all the good deeds they do, all the practices they carry out, edifying beings, teaching them according to their needs, are never in error even for a moment. All are in consonance with skill and knowledge, all are dedicated to omniscient knowledge, none passing in vain. Cultivating and practicing good ways like this, enlightening beings fulfill 10 kinds of adornments moment after moment, adornment of bodies, they appear as appropriate to beings who can be taught. Adornment of speech, they cut off all doubts and cause everyone to rejoice. Adornment of mind, they enter all meditations in a single instant. Adornment of Buddha lands, all are pure, free from afflictions. Adornment of auras, they radiate boundless light, illumining sentient beings everywhere. Adornment of community, they unify communities and gladden them all. Adornment of spiritual powers, they can appear freely, adapting to the minds of sentient beings. Adornment of true teaching, they are able to attract all intelligent people. Adornment of the state of nirvana, becoming enlightened in one place, they pervade the whole universe. Adornment of skillful explanation, they teach in accord with the place, the time, the faculty, and capacity. Perfecting these adornments, the physical, verbal, and mental actions of enlightening beings, moment after moment, are never wasted. All they dedicate to entering into omniscience. If any sentient beings see these enlightening beings, know that this also will not be in vain, for they will surely attain an excelled complete perfect enlightenment. Any who hear their names, or make offerings to them, or live with them, or remember them, or leave home to follow them, or listen to them preach, or rejoice in their virtues, or respect them from afar, or even praise their names, will all attain an excelled complete perfect enlightenment. For example, it is as though there were a medicine, called good to see, which removed all toxins from those who saw it. So it is with enlightening beings who have accomplished this teaching. If sentient beings see them, all the poisons of afflictions will be destroyed, and wholesome states will increase. Enlightening beings, abiding by this teaching and earnestly applying it, destroy the darkness of ignorance by means of the light of wisdom. They conquer the armies of demons by the power of compassion. They check heretics by means of great knowledge and the power of virtue. They wipe out all afflictions staining the mind by means of adamantine concentration. They gather roots of goodness by the power of diligence. They avoid the difficulties of evil ways by means of the power of virtues of purifying Buddha lands. They purify their spheres of knowledge by the power of non-attachment. By the power of skill in means and knowledge they produce the transcendent practices of the stages of enlightening, as well as the various concentrations, 6 super-knowledges, and from fearlessnesses, making them all pure. By the power of all virtues they fully develop the pure lands of all Buddhas, their boundless distinguishing marks and refinements, and complete physical, verbal, and mental adornments. By the power of observation with independent knowledge they know the powers, fearlessnesses, and unique qualities of all enlightened ones are equal. By the power of vast knowledge they comprehend the realm of omniscience. By the power of their past vows they manifest Buddha lands according to the needs of those to be taught, turn the wheel of the great teaching, and liberate innumerable living beings. Great enlightening beings diligently practice these things, gradually accomplishing all the deeds of enlightening beings, till they attain equality with the Buddhas, become great teachers in boundless worlds, maintaining the true teaching, protected by all the Buddhas, guarding and upholding the vast treasury of truth. Attaining unhindered intellect, they enter deeply into the facts of the teaching, and in boundless worlds among the great masses they manifest different physical forms, according to type, replete with supremely excellent features. With unhindered powers of elucidation they skillfully explain the profound teaching. The spheres of their speech, well-rounded, skillfully reach everyone, therefore are able to cause those who hear to enter the gate of inexhaustible knowledge. Knowing the afflictions current in the minds of beings, they teach them accordingly. Because the sounds of the speech they utter are completely pure, they can, preaching with one sound, cause all to become joyful. They are physically well formed, and have great strength, so among the masses none can surpass them. Because they know sentient beings' minds well, they are able to appear in any way. Because they explain the truth skillfully, their voice is unhindered. Because they have freedom of mind, they explain the great teaching adaptively, and no one can obstruct them. Because they have attained fearlessness, their hearts are free from cowardice. Because they are masters of teaching, none can excel them. Because they are masters of knowledge, none can surpass them. Because they are masters of transcendent wisdom, the teachings they expound are not contradictory. Because they are masters of powers of elucidation, they teach continuously with eloquence. Because they are masters of mental command, they definitively disclose the real character of all things. Because they are masters of elocution, whenever they speak they can bring forth all sorts of examples and metaphors. Because they are masters of great compassion, they diligently teach sentient beings without flagging. Because they are masters of great kindness, they emanate a great web of lights pleasing all hearts. Thus do enlightening beings, on the high and wide lion throne, expound the great teaching. Aside from the enlightened ones and the great enlightening beings of surpassing will and knowledge, no other beings can excel them, none can see their crowns, none can outshine them, and no one can stump them with difficult questions. Child of Buddha, once enlightening beings have attained such independent power, even if there were a vast sanctuary the size of unspeakably many worlds filled with beings, each of whom had the majesty of a lord of a billion worlds, as soon as any of the enlightening beings showed themselves, they would outshine the whole crowd of such beings. With great kindness and compassion they would give them security where they were afraid and weak, and with profound wisdom they would examine their inclinations and teach them with fearless eloquence, causing joy to all. Why? Because great enlightening beings have developed the sphere of immeasurable knowledge and wisdom. Because they have developed immeasurable skillful discernment. Because they have developed vast power of right mindfulness. Because they have developed infinitely flexible intellect. Because they have developed the total mental command to ascertain the true character of all things. Because they have developed a boundless determination for enlightenment. Because they have developed unerring powers of elucidation. Because they have developed profound faith and resolve boosted by the Buddhas. Because they have developed the power of knowledge to enter the assemblies of all Buddhas. Because they have developed the pure mind that knows the Buddhas of all times are of the same essential nature. Because they have developed the knowledge of enlightened ones of all times, and the great will and knowledge of all enlightening beings, and are able to be teachers of the truth, to open up the treasury of the true teaching of the Buddhas, and to protect and keep it. Then, to restate what he meant, the enlightening being Truth Wisdom, by the spiritual power of the Buddha uttered these verses. Mind dwelling on enlightenment, gathering myriad virtues, never self-indulgent, planting unshakable wisdom, always mindful of the aspiration for enlightenment, at this all Buddhas rejoice. Mindfulness and will firm, self-motivated, relying on nothing in the world, and never shrinking in fright, entering the profound truth by the practice of non-contention, at this the Buddhas all rejoice. Once the Buddhas rejoice, enlightening beings are firm in effort, they cultivate virtue and wisdom, and all that assists the path. Entering into the pure practices of all the stages, they fulfill the aspiration spoken of by the enlightened. Practicing this, they attain the wondrous truth, and having attained to truth, they pass it on to others according to mentalities, faculties, and natures. They teach in accord with whatever is fitting. Enlightening beings expound the teaching for others without giving up their own transcendent practices. Once they have accomplished the transcendent ways, they remain forever in the sea of existence, rescuing living beings. They practice diligently day and night, never flagging, causing the seeds of the three treasures not to perish. All the pure practices they carry out they dedicate to the stage of enlightenment. The virtuous acts performed by enlightening beings are all to develop and complete the living, to have them destroy obscurity and annihilate affliction, subdue the demon armies and fulfill true awakening. Thus practicing, they attain Buddha knowledge, entering deeply into the treasury of truth of the enlightened. As great teachers they expound the subtle truth, like sweet elixir refreshing all. Their compassion and pity extends to all they know the mind of every sentient being and expound to them in accord with their predilections, boundless enlightening teachings. Their deportment is calm as a majestic elephant, their fearless courage is like that of a lion, imperturbable as a mountain, their knowledge is like an ocean, and like a great rain, removing all heat. When truth wisdom had spoken these verses, the Buddha was delighted, and everyone reverentially put them into practice. The end of Book 18.